Around this time of year, there are a lot of different challenges, many of which are around mental toughness.
Good, 22!
Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?
Well, I've got a great mental toughness challenge for you. How about you watch one of my videos all the way through, or go crazy, even try and watch 2 of my videos all the way through. Now that would really be something. But I say that mostly in jest, but partially it's a good segue into the topic of this video, which is one of the pillars within the 4 pillars name, and that pillar is perseverance. Stay tuned and listen about my personal journey and why perseverance is not only important as a firm philosophy or goal, but also it's really personal to me as well. Looking back to what I was like in high school and even younger is I was very insecure. I've always been somebody that is both quiet and empathetic. And on top of that, I thought people that were talkative were the most popular, the most successful. Regardless of what it was, I thought you wanted to be talkative, and I was not that. Compound that with being empathetic. And the main thing about empathy is that you care or you think about how others feel. And most situations, that's a good thing. However, if you're insecure, it can sometimes compound the insecurity because then you're always thinking about what other people think, and it kind of gets to be overpowering. And I've thought a lot about how I was able to overcome that. And I don't know that there was one discrete event or life-changing occurrence that really caused me to be able to overcome that, but it did feel like over a period of weeks or maybe months that the switch was flipped. What I realized is that there's still value to caring what other people think. However, it doesn't need to be pervasive in all walks of your life. If you're just walking down the hallway at school, you don't need to be stressed about what other people are thinking. You don't need to be so critical about what words that you're thinking about saying that you just prefer not to say anything at all in the hopes that you're avoiding saying something stupid or whatever. Through that shift in my mindset, it really did help to develop greater confidence. I was much more confident in social settings. I was much more confident in the classroom as well, because this was probably in the late high school, early college timeframe for me. The greater confidence really was helpful because even starting in high school, there was, from my perspective, just a history of failures. In high school, I knew from a very early time that I wanted to be student body president, ran for student body president and lost. Additionally, had a few schools, a few colleges that I really wanted to get into, and turns out I didn't get into any of those. I ended up in a pretty good place. I went to Georgia Tech my freshman year and then transferred to Missouri, and those were all good experiences, and happy that things played out the way that they did, but still there was some failure there. Once I got to college, there were different settings in which I didn't succeed. There were some elections for my fraternity. There were various awards that I wanted to achieve that I didn't. Here's an example. My freshman year, I was in a fraternity, and each year the one person in the freshman class gets this special award. And historically, it had always gone to the person with the highest GPA. Well, in my class of 24, I was the only person that got a perfect 4.0 GPA, and I didn't get it. And in this particular circumstance, there was something about me, personally, that caused me to not get that award. And it wasn't the type of thing that I was just going to ruminate on and let it get me down. It's just another failure, if you will. Try to learn from it and move on. Once I started recruiting, the success rate of even getting interviews and whatnot was very low. Once I did get the job, I felt like I did good there, and felt like I developed great work experience to help me be attractive when I started applying to business schools. Whenever I was applying to business schools, without question, my #1 choice was Harvard. I mean, that was my #1 goal. Didn't get in there, didn't even get an interview. So that means that not only did I not get in, I probably wasn't even close to getting accepted there. And unfortunate, and it wasn't a good feeling. But But, because I, had the self-confidence that, I was going to, keep going and I wasn't going to let it stop me from the goals, I did exactly that. I went to Michigan for business school, and it was a great experience. Another round of me trying to get into schools and failed. And Michigan was great, but, while I was there, ran for student body president there and failed. Once I got out of grad school, a lot of different jobs that I applied for that I didn't get. A lot of jobs that after a year or two just were not working out. And I would like to blame those on the job, but I have to admit that it was probably due to, some feature of my personality or what I was looking for. And not to say that I was, doing a terrible job, but when it comes to a lot of the job changing and whatnot, I was very entrepreneurial, and I wasn't able to scratch that entrepreneurial itch, if you will. But to some degree, it did again feel like failure. And fast forward to today, I hear no all the time. I mean, we work on so many different deals and I've gotten very comfortable with hearing no, because it just happens so much. And if I didn't have that self-confidence and didn't value trying to stick it out, then I think I would be in a lot different situation than I am right now. That's a big reason why we picked perseverance as being one of the 4 pillars within the company name, because in this industry we're always going to hear no a lot. We're always going to be facing rejection or failure, and you just got to get through it. One of the things that I've mentioned to some of the people I work for is that we really seek out folks that are looking for a reason to say yes, as opposed to looking for a reason to say no. Sometimes we'll hear objections and we'll just think, that guy or lady does not want to do this deal and they're just looking for any old reason. It's just whenever we think about running our business, we're trying to seek out folks with a different mindset. So instead of thinking about the negative and whatnot, how we think about this is that we always want to look for the reason to keep going as opposed to looking for a reason to stop. As long as you make that a priority, it, in my view, helps develop that initial momentum you need in order to keep going. Shoot for the moon, and if you fail, you'll land among the stars. I mean, that is absolutely the mindset that we take. And what I mean by that is maybe this capital provider doesn't want to work with us, or instead of this business owner wanting to sell to us, we find another business owner. It's that mindset, that endearing quality of persevering, why we're here today, and it's why we're going to be here tomorrow. And continuing on the theme of perseverance, that's what we're doing here with the YouTube channel. I mean, right now we're sitting at 1,100 subscribers. Our next milestone goal is 10,000 subscribers, which still really isn't that great. However, our goals are much higher. The mindset that we're taking is, we're not trying to have this channel go viral and get 1 million or 2 million views off one short. We're just trying to build a channel with a library of content that is going to endure the 90-second or whatever news cycle. We want to build something that has value, and to do that, we're going to have to persevere through these earlier periods and just keep going, because we know that our strategy is right and that we'll ultimately get to where we want to go. If you have a story about how you had to persevere, let me know. You can either leave something in the comments, or if it's longer, feel free to email me. I'd really like to hear from you, because this is a topic and a concept that is and will always be very important to me.